All right, so we are
Okay.
all set.
I got, for number 1, I got will shift downward.
I thought it was upward.
I'm not sure. That's what I put.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if the consumption schedule shifts downward and the shift was not caused by a tax change, then the savings schedule will shift upwards, because what it is that it will always equal 1. So unless it's tax related, if one shifts up, the other shifts the opposite.
Okay. That makes sense.
Is this the first one for number 2?
That's what I got. Spending more and saving less.
That's what I do.
I think that's what we all do.
Yeah. Most people just don't like to admit it. True.
So this is where the taxes comes in. So as consumption and saving schedules relate to real GDP, an increase in tax will shift both downward.
Okay.
Did you say upward?
Downward.
Downward. Okay, sorry. My husband's making tons of noise in the kitchen. And I missed the first word. Okay, I'd put downward. Okay.
Yeah, so your taxes are increasing, so everything else is going to shift down.
Okay. That makes sense.
For number 4, I put the third one.
That's what I put.
Yep. And that is from the book, so.
This one I wasn't sure on. Number 5.
This one is confusing. So, like I said before, it always is an opposite reaction. So if your consumption goes one way, then your savings goes the other way. So what I put is a movement down along line B, because it's saying consumption increases along line A2. Now, if it had shifted, then I would say it would be a shift.
Okay.
But
are you sure it's not up along B2 though?
No, logically, like, if your consumption increases, then you're spending more of your money on things rather than putting it into savings. So your savings will decrease.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what he's saying. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, because the actual formula is, I'm trying to remember what it was. It's where was that? Yeah, so it's basically savings equals disposable income minus consumption, or vice versa. So they're always equal. So savings plus consumption equals disposable income. So you have so much disposable income, and whenever you don't save is economically considered saving, even though you may not put it into a savings account. Whatever you spend of your disposable income is considered saved. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, that's why I came up with that. But that's just my thinking. I couldn't find anything in the book to completely back it up, but
I'm not sure on this one, but I put the first one for number 6.
I was thinking the last one. Who's calling me?
yeah, and that one, where was that one? Give me just a second. That one was actually in the book. I just saw it again, so I just want to make sure that I answered the last one, but I want to make sure that that's correct. course, now I can't find it again.
That's how it always works. I have a coaster, so I don't really hear. That's a lot of sound cream.
I just smeared it so it wasn't really blobbed. It's super thin.
I figured this is for wood. I don't know.
Are you gonna want all of those?
Probably not.
Okay.
Move.
Yeah, I'm not finding it now, but it does say. So because I remember it saying that if they feel more optimistic about the economy, then they're more likely to invest more.
Okay.
And then by investing more, that shifts your demand curve to the right. So if you go on page, well, it's under shifts of investment demand curve. It does show that graph. So it says increase in investment demand shifts it to the right, where decrease shifts it to the left.
Okay.
So that's why I did the last one, is because if they're feeling more optimistic about the economy, then that's going to increase the investment demand, which is going to shift it to the right.
Right. Okay.
And number 7, is it the first one?
That's what I put.
Okay.
I stopped answering questions after this. So.
Yeah, so that one, yeah, and that one I got directly from the book, so on number 7.
Right. Okay.
And
Number 8, is it the third one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Number 9, I got the last one.
Yep, and that is from the book as well. Now this one, I really had to think about this.
Yeah.
So I originally put 1 minus MPC because it does say on, let me see which page that was on. So on that first section, where it says income, consumption, and income savings relationships, down at the bottom is where it talks about MPC and MPS. And it's, so MPC is the numerical value of the slope of the consumption schedule, and MPS is the numerical value of the slope of the savings schedule. So we know that basically MPC plus MPS equals 1 because they just equal up to each other because your savings and your consumption equal 1. So that's why I put the last one, because it's wanting to know what the slope of the consumption schedule is. So it would be 1 minus savings would equal the consumption. So that's what I put, but I don't know if that's correct.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I just feel like it's backwards thinking, and I'm too tired to go through it. I'll trust you.
Yeah, because originally I was thinking it would be 1 minus MPC, but then that would be giving you the MPS.
Right.
So
It makes sense what you said.
and then this one I was not sure of at all. I didn't even know where to guess. So
If I had to guess, I think it would maybe be the second one. But that's just a guess.
And this is what I've always been bad at, is slopes. So. And it discusses these slopes on that first section. The income consumption and income savings relationship at the very bottom. That's where it talks about the slopes.
Okay, let me look at it. Okay. Wouldn't it be your disposable income increased? Hold on.
Yeah, so observe that consumption changes by 15 billion for each 20 billion change in disposable income. The slope of consumption line is thus 0.75. Which is the value of MPC.
But it wouldn't. Your disposable income needs to increase at a slower rate than your consumption in order for the slope to increase. So you can conclude that MPC has increased. That would probably be my best guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because disposable income, so it says observe that consumption changes by 15 billion for 20 billion. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on that one, so.
I was just thinking of it as the slope is rise over run. So if your consumption's, like, you're trying to get, so the slope increases, so it would mean that, no, I don't know. All of these, I can make all of them work. I have no idea. Never mind. I'm good with guessing.
Well, MPS would be incorrect because that would mean the slope of MPC would decrease.
Right.
But income increase or decrease, either one of those could be right.
Does the private closed economy have something to do with it?
I don't know. I didn't see anything on that, but I could be. So if your income increases, then your slope would decrease.
Right.
So if you're, yeah, so if you're,
I feel like it could be income has decreased or MPC has increased. I guess you can't really prove that income has decreased, though, because that could not be why the slope changed. So it's probably MPC has increased.
Yep, I'm betting you're
right. When the slope that's the one we can say for sure this is what happened.
Yep, yeah, because your slope equals your MPC. So if
right.
your slope increased, then you know that the MPC is also increased. So
right.
that's a guarantee. So yeah, I believe you're correct.
Should have just gone with your gut. You had it.
But now we actually thought about why it would be that. So.
We debated for 10 minutes trying to figure it out. To say occurs when.
And this answer is on that first section as well. It's in the key graph. So dis savings is when income is less than consumption. So when you're spending more than what your actual income is, that's when you're dis saving.
And the next one, I think it would be A.
Wouldn't it be 1 minus 0.03? I mean 0.3?
Yep, that's what I put.
Yeah.
I didn't get any.
Can you see me or hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
Okay, it kicked me off for some reason. I don't know why.
that's funny because it's still showing your old one on there too. So it has you on here twice.
That's weird.
I mean, as long as your current one's working, I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, one's frozen and one's working, so you're fine.
There's just 2 of you. Okay.
So this one I put the second one,
what I was
expected
thinking.
returns and real interest rates. Does everybody agree with that one?
Yeah. That's the one I was leaning towards.
Is 15 the last one? Hey, my second me went away.
Yes. Yep, it's the last one, the real interest rate. And that's actually the definition of the curve from the book. So
Real interest rate increases. Would it be I'm guessing. Would this be the first one?
Which number are you on? 16?
16?
I put the second one because if the interest rate increases, the demand for investment will go down, but there's not really anything in the book that says that because it's saying you would invest in anything where your expected return on investment is higher than what your actual interest rate is. So that's...
The third one kind of makes sense to me. We all have different ideas.
Let me just look it up.
And these are what always got me in
Investment demand.
in micro too, was the shift versus the movement.
Oh, I
line.
hated anything having to do with graphs. Hated it. Well, okay, maybe I don't understand. What's the definition of real interest rate?
So real interest rate is the nominal interest rate minus inflation.
Well, my thought was interest is what they're making off of their investment. So if that increased, wouldn't more people want to be investing? I might be looking at it backwards. That was my thought, and so if more people are investing, it shifts it to the right. Again, I could be totally wrong.
So I'm looking at the book under the interest rate investment relationship. Like the second heading down, it says the real interest rate.
Okay.
I'm just looking there to see if I can find anything that... Yeah, it says the real rate of interest rather than the nominal rate of interest is crucial in making decisions. Recall from Chapter 9 that the nominal interest rate is expressed in dollar of current value, while the real interest rate is stated in dollars of constant or inflation-adjusted value. Yeah, the real interest rate is the nominal rate less the rate of inflation.
We're on question 16 out of 20. Okay.
So it does say here, but what if inflation is occurring? Suppose that a $1,000 investment is expected to yield a real inflation-adjusted rate of 10%, and the nominal rate is 15%. At first, we would say the investment would be unprofitable, but assume there is ongoing inflation of 10% per year. This means the investing firm will pay back dollars with approximately 10% less in purchasing power. While the nominal interest rate is 15%, the real interest rate is only 5%. By comparing this 5% real interest rate with the 10% expected real rate, we find that the investment is potentially profitable and should be undertaken. So to me, that kind of explains what you were saying, that it would make more sense to invest, so that would shift it to the right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because based on what that's saying, is it
I
would...
wish it, yeah. Well, is that saying that the real interest rate is increasing though? Or is that just saying the difference, showing the difference between real interest and nominal interest rate?
It said, but if inflation is occurring, and then it says, but assume there is ongoing inflation of 10% per year. So inflation is increasing. I mean, that's a tough one.
Your real interest rate, it's nominal plus or minus inflation?
Minus. So your real is adjusted for inflation, so it's the nominal minus your inflation. So what it says here is, while nominal interest rate is 15%, the real interest rate is only 5%. And by comparing this 5% interest with the 10% expected real rate of return, we find that investment is profitable. So what they're saying is the real interest rate is lower when adjusted for inflation. Does that make sense?
No, I'm just confused.
I think we should just take a guess.
Okay.
Because it's not going anywhere.
So I would say go ahead and go with the first one, because that does make sense. I don't know if it's right or not, because it's kind of hard when you're
Shooting in the dark?
Yeah.
Trying to come up with explanations for the answers?
Yep. And this is where I got to, so I don't have any from here on. So the last three I didn't have.
Multiplier formula seems the following, except... Okay, let me go to that page.
So the only thing that I found was that it does assume that the economy has excess capacity and room to expand output.
I'm thinking it's the second one.
Yeah. I feel like the third and the fourth one makes sense. But let me look in the book and just try to read it.
So it does say that people will spend more as additional income, so that would be correct. And then it says, second, any change in income will change both consumption and savings in the same direction. But that doesn't apply to any of those. So.
Let's see.
Okay, so this one says Table 10.8 illustrates the rationale underlying the multiplier effect. Suppose that a $5 billion increase in investment spending occurs. We assume that the MPC is 0.75 and the MPS is 0.25, and prices remain constant. That is, neither the initial increase in spending nor any subsequent increases in spending will cause prices to rise. So that would be number 2 then?
Mm-hmm.
Going off what that says, I think that that's probably the correct answer.
Right.
Okay.
Because they're saying it won't affect the prices. So.
Yeah, but business firms will increase production if demands for their output increase, and people will spend more as they earn more. So, I mean, all 3 of those were stated in there. So I think that's probably correct. That the firms will raise their prices is not the correct assumption.
Okay.
$18, I think it's decrease.
Right. Because doesn't the multiplier effect mainly have to do with spending?
Yeah.
Not saving?
Yeah, because it's saying basically as income increases, people will spend more money, which basically multiplies the effect of the economy. So I would say it would be decrease as well.
Okay. Change in the GDP resulting from the actual change in spending. This is a formula somewhere.
Yeah, the multiplier and marginal propensities.
Where is that?
It's at the under the chart on that multiplier effect page.
Okay, so I was there. So.
Or is it, because there was this one at the top too.
Okay, so the change in real GDP resulting from an initial change in spending.
Okay, so that's the one at the top. So it says multiplier equals change in real GDP divided by initial change in spending.
Okay.
And it says by rearranging this equation, we can also say that change in GDP equals multiplier times initial change in spending.
So the third one.
Yeah.
Multiplying the multiplier by the initial change in spending. Yep.
One, oh, this is thing at the bottom, I think, of that page. 1 divided MPS.
That's multiplier equals.
Understates the actual multiplier because it includes like.
You guys obviously have to locked out of somewhere. Never on the minute after you out here.
I
The last one makes. Wait, no. I don't know.
want to at least know if it overstates or understates. Do you guys know that? Then we can pick from 2 rather than 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for right now.
I've been looking for it and I can't. I wish it would just say like this overstates this,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. It has a bunch of numbers.
Okay, so here it says the same will be true for successive rounds. If we work through all rounds of the multiplier, we find that the process ends with income has cumulatively increased by 25 billion, not the 20 billion shown in the table. When the MPS is 0.2 rather than 2.5, the multiplier is 5 as opposed to 4 billion.
It's saying it's understated, right?
Suppose MPS in so it looks like it's saying it's overstated because it says suppose the MPS is 0.2 or 0.2 and business increase investment by 5 billion in the first round of the table. Consumption will rise by 4 billion rather than the 3.75. So that's saying that it's understated.
That's what I was thinking with the 25 billion, not the 20 billion shown in the table.
Yeah.
Like 25 is the actual and 20 is what they had calculated it to be.
Yeah, because savings will increase by 1 billion rather than the 1.2 billion stated in the table. So
well, if it understates it, it's probably because. Wait a second. Would it be the first one?
That kind of makes sense.
Hold on. My dog is chewing on something. No.
Okay. Here it says, but in reality, consumption of the domestic output increases in each round by a lesser amount than implied by the MPS alone. In addition to household use some of the extra income in each round to purchase additional goods from abroad, import, and pay additional taxes. So that would be, it would overstate it then based on this statement here. But in reality, consumption of domestic output increases in each round at a lesser amount than implied by the MPS alone. In addition to savings, household use some of the extra income in each round to purchase additional goods from abroad, such as imports, and pay additional taxes.
I don't know. I'm just confused.
Let's just pick one.
Yeah, we'll definitely figure out whether it's right or wrong.
So it sounds like it's overstates, but
Okay.
because it includes leakage in domestic spending of imports or paying taxes.
So just
Wouldn't
go-
it be excluding leakages?
Yes. Yep. So it'd be that last one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We ready to submit?
Maybe.
Here we go.
Okay.
90%. Not too
Okay,
bad.
so one. Number 5. It
So
was
it
a
was,
along.
that doesn't make sense to me, but
Okay, wait. So explain, Stephanie, why you thought that then.
Well, it was just kind of a guess, but I was thinking that, I don't know, just having it move up along made more sense than having it shift for some reason. It just kind of like made sense in my mind. I don't know that I can really explain it, but
Okay.
yeah, because we selected a movement down, which to me that made the most sense, but if consumption increases along line A2, then in figure B there would be, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I think you are looking at disposable income. And if it's increasing, that means they're getting more disposable income. And if they're getting more disposable income, maybe they're putting more into savings.
But
maybe
up here it says refer to consumption in figure A and savings schedule in figure B. So it's saying A is consumption and B is savings.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
16 is the next one. The real interest rate increases, there will be a movement upward along the investment demand curve.
Yeah, and this is the one we had no idea, so we just took a shot in the dark.
Cool. I don't feel super bad about that.
Yeah.
We got the
This
last one, so that was exciting.
That one took us a long time to figure out, but we got it.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Okay.
Alrighty.
cool.
Well, we're just going to do the mind maps by ourselves from now on, right? We just
I
decided
think so.
we
Yeah.
all do it, and it's pretty simple.
Yeah, they're not too bad at all, so.
I think it was just the first week where we're like, I don't even know what mind map means.
I'm not sure how to go about this, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well,
Alrighty.
see you guys next week.
Alrighty.
Okay, bye.